Guys, I think there's been an accident at the Grand Seiko factory. Someone forgot to print the word Grand in front of Seiko. Apparently this happened with like 3,500 dials. I don't think Mr. Zaratsu is going to get his Christmas bonus this year. Hey guys, I'm Max and welcome back to Hot Ones. So Seiko is known for their budget watches and Grand Seiko is known for their dial work. But when I saw a picture of this Alpinist Ginza limited edition, I immediately thought, what's a dial like this doing on a sub $1,000 watch? And I can assure you in the hand, this thing is every bit as dazzling as the pictures. So, okay, let's back up. This watch marks the 140th year anniversary of Seiko's founding. And Ginza is Tokyo's premier shopping district, packed with upmarket boutiques. That's according to Wikipedia. I've never been there before, but this is also where a young upstart Kentaro Hattori founded the company back in 1881. Now, limited to 3,500 pieces, the full name of this watch is the Prospex Alpinist Modern Reinterpretation SPB259. More on the name later. But what you first notice is this beautiful mosaic dial. And it's modeled after the cobblestone streets of Ginza, while the glimmering green color reflects the tones of Ginza's modern architecture. Now, once you get over just how pretty this dial is, you notice that Seiko has mastered the use of geometry here. Subdivided triangles mark the 6, 9, and 12, mirroring those classic triangular dolphin hour and minute hands. Skinny rectangles elegantly mark the rest of the hours, as well as a well-executed date window found at 3. Now, on this channel, you hear me talking about cohesiveness of design a lot, and this watch is a great example of that. All of these shapes mentioned have sharp edges and angles, and those shapes resonate with one another, and what we're treated with is a symphony of visuals that don't clash, rather they're harmonious and make visual sense. I'm looking at you, Black Bay 58. The only element breaking up the party here is the pastel blue second hand, which tapers impressively down to a skinny arrow tip, reminding us that Seiko still knows how to play. Now, call me old school, but when I think of the Alpinist, I think of the original green SARB 017. I had one, many of my watch friends still do, but only when I looked further did I realize that the Alpinist story goes back much further. So, geographically, Japan is a country defined by its mountains, and in 1961, Seiko introduced the Alpinist as a tribute to the Yamatoko, or the mountain men. This was really Seiko's first try at building a sports watch, and the Laurel Alpinist was that pioneering piece that birthed many generations of mountaineer watches to follow. But for whatever reason, the Alpinist name went into hibernation through the 70s and the 80s, only to be revived in 1995 in the form of the Red Alpinist, and in a format that we're all familiar with now as part of the Prospex line, which stands for Professional Specifications. However, in typical Seiko fashion, in recent years, we've been subjected to a flurry of Alpinist variants, including the Baby Alpinist, without the compass bezel and reduced down to 38 millimeters, and culminating in the 36.6 millimeter 1957 recreation. This is more of a faithful modern rendition of the Laurel Alpinist, and even comes on a boon strap. But honestly, I've had a bit of Alpinist fatigue as of late. I mean, one of my pet peeves is when a manufacturer takes like a shotgun approach to their lineup. I get a bit of analysis paralysis, and just like a person who tries to please everybody, I lose a little bit of respect for said brand. But when I saw a picture of the Ginza, I knew the hunt was back on for an Alpinist. The word iridescence gets thrown around but doesn't really fully capture the effect. Each small section changes shades in the light and takes on different tones of emerald. It feels like someone shattered a gemstone and glued all the small pieces together. Basically, this is like a really pretty green disco ball. Everything lives under a very clear domed sapphire crystal, which gives off a bit of distortion from the sides for that vintage feel. But unfortunately, once you get away from the dial, this is definitely not a Grand Seiko. For example, the mid case is flat and uninteresting, the screw down crown is unsigned, and the display case back is just a bit bulbous, making for some wobbliness on the wrist. The watch, though, claws back some points when it comes to the movement. The newer 6R35, though not much to look at, boasts an impressive 70 hours of power reserve and is anti-magnetic. Now, I found out the importance of this the hard way when my old SARB 033 suddenly began to run 15 minutes fast a day, and that needed to be demagnetized. Now, this is all protected under 200 meters of water resistance, and then we come to the bracelet. Now, don't get me wrong, at this price point, it's basic but tolerable. It's got these 3 link sections and no taper, but ironically, the accountants seem to have found enough budget to build a milled folding mechanism, but ran out of cash at the outer clasp. So again, here we're treated with the typical stamped Seiko afterthought, the lip of which protrudes so much that you can probably use it to open beer bottles. Also, okay, I'm gonna stay on my soapbox a little bit longer. I want to start a petition against 19 and 21 millimeter lug widths. I mean, come on, you're not that special. Some people argue that it's because of the proportions of the case, but if a 36mm Explorer can get away with 20mm lug widths, then your 38mm Alpinist can as well. I just feel like Seikos, and sometimes even Grand Seiko, falls apart on the bracelet, and this is why I like to put them on straps. And lately, my go-to for odd-size strap options has been from D-Lugs. Admittedly, it wasn't easy to match a green watch to a strap. I thought a green strap would just be too on the nose, but this Cognac Crazy Horse side stitch strap fits the bill. It's rustic enough to go with that Alpinist outdoor heritage, while the muted colors don't steal your eye from the main event. So, to me, this is Seiko's watch of the year. It's in that Goldilocks zone in terms of size, and they've basically given us a Grand Seiko dial inside of a $750 body. Now, whether you buy this watch for the history of the Alpinist and the Mountain Men, or you buy it for that cobblestone dial, this is potentially a watch for all occasions. In fact, in both design and appeal, this watch reminds me a lot of the Omega Aquaterra, just not in price. But hurry, because I get the feeling that 3,500 pieces are not going to last. Anyways, guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think of this Alpinist, and also which is your favorite Alpinist, because we know there's a lot of different variants out there. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.